Johnson Asiedu Nketia, who is one of the witnesses of Mr. Mahama, says based on the figures that the chairperson of the first responded, Mrs. Jane Adukwe-Mensah, announced as part of her declaration, acted in flagrant violation of the 1992 Constitution. According to him, based on the figures that Mrs. Jane Adukwe-Mensah, chairperson of the first respondent and the returning officer for the presidential election, announced in the declaration of the results of the presidential election, she was required to conduct a second election between the petitioner and the second respondent. He indicates that there has not been any process whereby the chairperson of the first respondent and the returning officer for the presidential election conferred with any agents of the petitioner as well as other candidates to notify them of any corrections that were required to be made in respect of the figures that she announced on December 9, 2020 as the basis for the declaration she made. He alleged that Mrs. Mensah has at all material times in the conduct of her responsibilities been biased by prejudice in favor of the second respondent against the petitioner. Mr. Asiedu Nketia contends that if Mrs. Jane Mensah, as a returning officer for the presidential election, had determined in good faith that her declaration on December 9, 2020 was in error, her constitutional duty to be fair and candid required her, among other things, to acknowledge the error, set aside her erroneous declaration, and proceed on the path to correcting her error, respecting the rights of all candidates, including the petitioner, to participate in the processes towards the making of such a correction. He further alleged that figures were cooked to achieve a predetermined outcome that had nothing to do with actual votes cast in the presidential election for various candidates. Dr. Michael Kpessa-Whyte, on the other hand, indicated that he was one of the petitioner's representatives in the first respondent's strong room. According to him, many material irregularities were identified during the entire process of the December 7, 2020 presidential election. Consequent to this, together with a colleague of his, these material irregularities were brought to the attention of the National Democratic Congress, the political party on whose petitioner contested as candidate for the office of president in the presidential election held on December 7, 2020. According to him, based on the observation of many material anomalies with some of the collation sheets, they immediately brought same to the attention of Mrs. Jane Adukwe-Mensah, chairperson of the first respondent and the returning officer for the presidential election. He indicated that upon making these observations known to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, she assured him that she was going to hold on to any declaration of the results until their concerns and all other concerns with the collation of the votes were raised. Dr. Kpessa-Whyte indicates that he is still waiting for Mrs. Jane Adukwe-Mensah, chairperson of the first respondent and the returning officer for the presidential election, to acknowledge her unconstitutional conduct on December 9, 2020 and embark on a course to correct that conduct by engaging in the necessary and standard consultations with all the representatives of the presidential candidates for that election.